What are you gonna do, kid? Kill me? But then who would tell you where your beloved Thea is?
They never played the dun-dun-dun! I didn't know! They say the mark of a good villain is that they believe what they're doing is right. They're exciting and appealing, and often a little sympathetic. But in my opinion, there's another quality to what makes a good villain, and it's a showing of their determination in their convictions. And that's something Arrow's Deathstroke has in spades. This entire episode is just a massive dog and pony show set up by Slade to show how much power he has over Oliver. It's almost like he's gloating at how far ahead he's planned. Slade literally only kidnaps Thea to fuck with Oliver, tells Thea Oliver knew Malcolm's her bio dad to fuck with Oliver, and lets her go after that just to fuck with Oliver. Meanwhile, he's out recruiting an army because he knows his plan to fuck with Oliver will work. It's actually really genius and plays into the calculating aspect of how Deathstroke really is. And once again, at the end of the episode, he tells Laurel that Oliver's the Arrow just to fuck with Oliver. Slade is in complete control of every aspect of Oliver's life right now. He got his hooks into Queen Consolidated through Isabel Roshev, who's now ousted Oliver from the company. He planted blood in the running for mayor to get control of the city, as well as having a leader for his future army. He knows about Argus, and was able to use the resources to find everything he needed to recreate the Mirakuru from a sample of his blood, and he did all of this completely under Oliver's nose, too. This season continually plays up how unstoppable Slade's becoming. However, this is unfortunately the episode where we establish how Mirakuru's mental hold over you works, and in short, I don't like it because it keeps Slade from becoming the villain. We get to see Slade be how the best iterations of the character are written. A cunning master planner who succeeds by outsmarting his enemies in small showings of force. But by making the Mirakuru into something that makes Slade take orders from a visual representation of his subconscious, it removes a lot of the agency from his decisions. To see how this could have been done a little better, look no further than Spider-Man PS4's main villain, Doc Ock. This version of Doc Ock has been corrupted by a neural interface that he installed in his robotic arms, and we can actually see him become more and more aggressive. We hear about his backstory with Norman Osborn, and we even see him shut Otto's lab down as a major event in the game's story. This then leads to his sober thoughts becoming his drunk actions once he's affected by the neural interface. And while it might seem like I just described exactly how Slade's treated in the show, there's a key difference between the two, and that's that the audience can see a visual representation of Slade's subconscious. That alone, unfortunately, removes a lot of what makes Slade threatening and prevents him from being 100% the villain. And narratively speaking, I just don't like that. And it would be one thing if it was only for the audience to see, but it's established in the series that the person affected with Mirakuru can see, listen to, and interact with that visual representation. But that's one small aspect of this episode that's very lightly touched on, and the rest of the episode is still fantastic. This episode really understands the kind of character that Deathstroke is, but the way they have the Mirakuru puppet his body around just takes the edge out of it, and I didn't even realize the problem I had with that until this viewing of the season. But you know what? Despite the method of how we got to see Slade be as threatening as he should be, he is still threatening. As a villain, Slade is calculating and knowledgeable, and while Malcolm was calculating in Season 1, it's not the same way Slade is. Malcolm may move some chess pieces in the background, but Slade actively anticipates his prey's moves and plans accordingly. This is still one of the best adaptations of Deathstroke outside of the Teen Titans animated show. There's a reason Deathstroke's nickname is the Terminator, okay? He's not just gonna break you down physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. And it's incredible to me that the writers don't just understand that, but are able to push it to the extent that they've been pushing it. And giving a character like Deathstroke actual superpowers is just icing on the cake. How do you stop a Deathstroke with superpowers? Can you even stop a Deathstroke with superpowers? You might think that I'm going to complain about Roy, as I'm an avid hater of superhero team drama, but if you look at things from his perspective, he's not even wrong to be angry. Every decision Oliver's made has been making Roy's life more and more challenging. Every good thing in Roy's life has been going away, and he's completely justified in feeling the way he feels. Despite this episode focusing more on a contained event that Slade has planned, the rest of the characters don't slack off. Everyone else is written well within their personalities. Hell, Moira even realizes how much her compulsive lying hurts those around her, and is beginning to heal her relationship with Oliver. There's a cool fight sequence in this episode, but I unfortunately compared it to the hallway fight from The Undertaking in Season 1, and it just doesn't have as much going for it as that one does. There are a few cool moments, like Oliver busting this one dude's arm and tearing his arrow out of this dude's leg, but I prefer the one in The Undertaking. I also, unfortunately, had the pleasure of watching this episode a few days after the Flash episode, It's My Party and I'll Die If I Want To aired, which also included a cool Oliver fight sequence that I liked, despite it being very obvious that Stephen Amell was replaced with a stunt guy in that one. The rest of the visuals are pretty standard, though this is Guy Norman B's final contribution to the series. You can't skip this episode. It's instrumental in setting up the rest of the season. Seeing Slade completely and utterly outmatch Oliver in every way makes for a really great episode, and it shows that Arrow's second season can absolutely recover after episodes like Birds of Prey. When the season's doing things involving Slade, it's clearly firing on all cylinders, and when it's firing on all cylinders, we get fantastic episodes like this one.
Everything is proceeding as planned.